Hi ASEAN Path. 안녕하세요. I'm Arman Hartono from BCA. Happy to see you, and we would like to talk about BCA Indonesia.
Hi, my name is Marty Sutanto. I'm from BCA Securitas.
BCA processed 30 to 40% market share of daily payment nationwide. So Indonesia GDP per capita has been growing quite steadily since the year 2000 after 98 crisis. Then actually Indonesia went up quite steadily.
BCA market cap or market capitalization, I think, contribute around 17% of free float adjusted market cap in the Indonesian stock exchange.
What do you think the global economy will be like in 2023?
One is an inflation problem because of energy price. Two is a demography, it's aging demography. And America, which people say, oh, the US dollar is strengthening, but actually US dollar strengthening is actually hurting other countries. So now if I look at Indonesia, 60-70% of the economy is more dependent on domestic consumption.
Next question will be about trend and the outlook. What do you think the global economy will be like in 2023? And how is the BCA group going to deal with it?
If we look at global, for example, Europe, one is an inflation problem because of energy price, fertilizer price, and other supply chain related price. Two is a demography, it's aging demography. Majority of population in Europe are above 30, which means the economy will slow down and go to recession. Japan will be similar story. Russia and China are in more isolated mode. They are not as open as before. And America, which people say, oh, the US dollar is strengthening, but actually US dollar strengthening is actually hurting other countries. And also not good for US. So globally, the economy is slowing down. Indonesia and some other countries who has commodities, for the time being, we are the main exporter of commodities, whether it's energy, it's food, or other materials such as nickel for EV batteries, copper for the cables. We have the benefit today. But as the world goes through recession, all these commodity prices will also get corrected within the next 1-2 years. So now if I look at Indonesia, 60-70% of the economy is more dependent on domestic consumption. And the 30-40% is dependent on what's going on in the world. As inflation still rise, every country will get hit, including Indonesia. The positive demography of Indonesia, 60-70% of the domestic economy, will still be positive. As the 30-40%, which is the export-import market, international market, slow down, it will affect Indonesia. But overall, Indonesia GDP will still grow, maybe slower.
On this day, the platform players are trying to acquire banks, like Gojek just acquired the Jago Bank, and other platforms just acquired the other like banks. So I think the trend of the digital banking is being accelerated fast. So how do you think about the movement?
Let's agree on what do we define by digital bank. For example, BCA. We have 99.6% transaction done digitally. Whether it's an internet, mobile, ATM machine, or card machine, it's 99.6%. Only 0.4% is done in branches. But this 99.6% is very active when there are branches near the customer. For digital account, not near a branch, the activity is lower. The money flow is slower, and the credit growth is slower also. It means less profitability. A bank is only 100% digital and doesn't have enough branches. So there's always a question, how do you define a digital bank? And nobody can answer actually, because not every bank uses digital. There's actually no difference. Now, difference would be an ecosystem. Since the beginning of time, banks grow from communities, from an ecosystem. Like BCA, we started from the textile community.
Yeah.
A group of businesses in textile and garment come together. Okay, let's put the money together, make the money revolve, whether it's for funding, deposit, and credit payments within this community, and then we call it a bank. So the concept has always been the same. In 1988, there were a few hundred new banks. How did they survive? They're usually owned by a conglomerate, and they will try to force everybody within their conglomerate ecosystem to join the bank. So the funding revolves around the bank, and because they know the clients, they give the credit there to also in the ecosystem. It has always been like that. Now today, you have all these ecosystems that who own e-commerce or some other business, and now they want to own a bank. Logically, they will try to actually go through the same ecosystem again. There's no difference. The basic concept has been the same. Nothing new there. BCA, however, have learned that those 200 banks was built in 1988 and went through the 98 crisis and until today. If you only depend on your own ecosystem, you will grow. You may be profitable, and after a while you will stagnate because of the strategy of focusing on your own ecosystem, and because you're owned by a conglomerate group based on ecosystem, it actually makes it more difficult to enter other ecosystem. But it's a choice. This model works. It's been proven in 2,000 years that if you focus on one community, it can be profitable and you can grow, but you'll be limited to that community. For BCA, we learned our lesson that to grow, we decided that our business model is open ecosystem. We will work with as many ecosystem, conglomerate, communities, as many as possible. And that's our strategy.
That's why we can find the VC wherever now.
Open platform.
Yeah. Mr. Marty, maybe might consider about the digitalization of the capital market. Digital players are coming to the capital market.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the kind of trend?
I think it's very positive, Mr. Joe. We have to move forward. When I joined the company back in 2012, at that time, my plan, I will not open a branch. Because from my previous experience, branches also involve cost. In terms of our cost structure, I think it's the best would be through electronics. That's why we develop online trading system. That's why we grow very fast. It doesn't really cost too much, very efficient, and also in terms of accuracy is better compared you have a human broker. Because securities company, our commission is very thin. We have to be smart in terms of our capital allocation.
In your opinion, what trends do you see coming next in Indonesia?
I would divide the technology to 3 categories. One is automation, one is integration, one is analytics. In the last 20 years, there has been a lot of automation technology that came in, whether it's a machine, robotics, RPAs, process automation, that has been going on. And in the last 10 years, API, application program interface, has been growing because of the e-commerce, and also BCA is one of the first banks to actually launch the API to support all the ecosystem. And because of the availability of data become much larger than it's a big data technology that we already know, that has actually pushed and put our companies to the next level. It's us, it's customers with a combination of machine automation, software automation, integration with APIs, and big data analytics. Now lately people have been hearing about the Web 3. The Web 1 is just information on your browser. Web 2 is information plus some other content, video or social media. But the Web 3 is still being defined. Now trying to link that with also the payment and asset trade embedded in the technology. Now they call it using the blockchain. It's still very new. It's only been popular in 7 years. Of course, most people know it only the crypto because it's very exciting.
That's fact.
Yes, but we don't touch the crypto. That's for fun also. Of course, we are a bank. We focus on government approved money, which is the rupiah and other currencies. But what's interesting will be the technology. Once the technology mature, it will make things should be better. Hopefully one day become cheaper, faster, and also more secure because of how the logic of the technology is being made. But again, it's something new. We will have to wait and see. But the next decade, we should see this. They will add technology which imitate current technology, but make it better, cheaper, faster, and safer. That will be the next, what I call it, the next internet revolution.